Hi, Madeleine here from Our Protection Dogs. So today we thought about quickly discussing some of the breeds for personal protection dogs. So if you are looking to get a personal protection dog and you can't decide which dog to go for, this is the video for you.
Hi, I'm Charles and I'm also joining in on this video. First of all, I need to tell you people out there, we are by no means telling you that you've got a shit dog or anything like that, or the breed that you are loyal to is not good enough for what it's supposed to do. We are merely going to discuss some breeds that we get to deal with quite regularly in our dog training, our day-to-day dog training, and the things that we found about these breeds and why we would say these things about these breeds. So please don't feel offended if we happen to say something negative about the breed. All breeds have got a positive, all breeds have got a negative, so please don't take this personal and try and crucify us because how dare we say something about that breed that's negative. And if there's maybe a breed that we did not mention in this video that you feel that we needed to mention, maybe your bulldog or something like that, let us know which breed do you prefer as a personal protection dog, so that we can see what you prefer.
But we're just going to talk about some of the common ones, or the ones we get to deal with, as that's we can only have an opinion about the breeds that we get to deal with. So talking about the Bouviers or stuff like that, it's not really our scope of
Bouviers, Russian Terriers. It's not a breed that's very common in South Africa when it comes to protection dogs.
No.
Worldwide, the Russian Terrier and the Bouvier is still used as working dogs. Just so that you do understand, there's a huge difference between show line and working lines, and we are not going to discuss show lines. It's not our line of expertise. We are more going to talk about the working lines for protection dogs. So breeds that we want to discuss with you today is the Malinois, German Shepherd, Dutch Shepherds, and then we will also talk a little bit about the Rottweiler, Doberman Pinscher, the Mastiffs or the Boerboel, Pit Bull, and then maybe the Ridgeback. We will throw that in there as well.
Okay, so let's start. I think we're going to start with, and I think we're allowed to say this because it is our personal opinion. It's not for everybody, but it's just ours, and our big love is the Belgian Malinois. So for us, that is our number one choice for personal protection dogs. We just absolutely love the breed, but we understand the breed and we deal a lot with them every day. So their intelligence and natural guarding instinct just puts them, for me, a cut above the rest. And especially when it comes to the intelligence and how willing they are to learn and how easy they are to train. Okay, saying all these things, we all know there's negative side to your Malinois, how busy they are, how obsessive they can get about things. So you do need the right type of person for a dog like this. And then there's also stuff to think about. Are you buying a fully trained dog, or are we talking about you raising a puppy? So if you want to know more information about that, go check out our other video about pros and cons of raising your own dog to buying a fully trained dog, because that does make a difference in if you're going to choose the Malinois, because raising a Malinois is not for everybody, and it's a lot of time, a lot of dedication, and a lot of knowledge about the breed. But buying one and then being taught how to maintain it is a different story.
Then another breed, we'll jump to and fro if we forget something about that breed that we want to add in. The second breed that I want to talk about is a breed that's very, very common in South Africa and a lot over the world. A very common breed, very old breed as well, is your German Shepherd, or a lot of people that will refer to them as Alsatians. We refer to them as German Shepherds. And with the German Shepherds, it makes a very nice family dog. Also, if you're looking at more your working lines, they're quite active, quite busy dogs. They're also large in size. All these dogs shed hair, so during your winter times and summer times when you've got your moon phases changing, there's a lot of hair, so grooming and looking after them is really a must. The only thing that we find negative about the German Shepherds is all the illnesses. There are a lot of hip problems, bad breeding, elbows, and elbows is one thing that people a lot of times neglect. But the elbows are a lot of times very much a true reflection of genetics. So hips and elbows are always a problem. The back also now starting to become a big problem. Well, not now starting, it's been a problem since they've changed the shape. And then also a lot of skin allergies that has got ear infections and things like that. So you do run the risk of having all this in your German Shepherd. So when you do go and buy a German Shepherd or a puppy German Shepherd, make sure that you go at least 2, if you can, 3 generations back, and the proof of the hips and the elbows. You actually want to see those photos because unfortunately they're and I think it's like that right over the world. They do not have any governing body that is strict enough to protect these breeds. So you have to do your homework really well when buying a German Shepherd. But I do also love my German Shepherds in a house or in an environment.
They make a great first-time protection dog. Like if you're not used to these working breeds, sometimes it's a little bit easier to start with that because they're much more forgiving and much more balanced than your Malinois. So no, German Shepherds definitely have a place. And I think one thing about the Shepherds is why I think they're not top for personal protection is just their natural guarding instinct, that they have been bred for that. Even before we started using them for police and personal protection, they were bred to protect the farmers and the livestock on the farm, and so they have that natural instinct that is just, it's difficult to find somewhere else. And then nowadays they get bred to protect and to be able to do that kind of training. So right over the world, police, military, everybody is preferring their Shepherds, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah. The other thing about the German Shepherd is if you look at the breed, it's been around for quite some time and been used in a lot of wars. Another thing about German Shepherds, which I've noticed with a lot of the German Shepherd guys also told me about when we started off with dog training, and which I saw firsthand, is that they mature way later than what your Dutch Shepherd and your Malinois does. They mentally maturing Malinois much earlier than your German Shepherd, especially your German Shepherd males. They take a while to mature. This is something that I can't say that we have positive proof of, but all the dogs that we've raised and worked with in German Shepherds, and a lot of the German Shepherd guys I've spoken to that's worked a lot with them, that breed them, all say exactly the same thing, that it takes a little time to mature. So don't expect you're going to have this like a Malinois, which will go mature quicker and gets
crazy
to a
from the
beginning.
Yeah.
Your German Shepherds take a little while to mature. So that's another thing that you have to remember about the German Shepherd.
And if I can go back to the shedding that you were saying, it's like, yeah, we all think, oh, we don't want his hair. But for me, it's just, you have to make a choice. You know, do you really want something that can protect you, that you can rely on? Then you have to give with the hair. You know, brush them regularly with the right brush, and you won't have that excessive shedding. But if I have to rather take another breed because of hair, I don't think I will do that. Other breeds might have shorter coats, but there's nothing with the protection abilities of your Shepherds for me.
Then the Dutch Shepherd, which is, I think, one of my personal favorites, but there's a lot of controversy with the Dutch Shepherd. It's like, is it a Malinois? Is it just a Malinois with stripes? I am not saying that it's a Malinois, people. Please don't crucify me for liking dark Malinois or anything like that. But the breed is so closely related that even if you crossbreed the two, that you have Malinois and you've got Dutchies out of the pups. You don't have a Malinois with stripy legs or a stripy body and Malinois legs. They are so closely related. I would say, correct me if I'm wrong also, I'm not a doctor, but DNA wise they are so closely related that you can, with that Malinois that come, if you have a 50-50 with Malinois and Dutch Shepherd and it comes out Malinois and you breed that to a Malinois and you breed that to they just come out Malinois. And the other side with the Dutch Shepherds, if you just keep on Dutch Shepherd, they just come out Dutch Shepherd. So very interesting breed. Again, there's two different lines of the Dutch Shepherds that I have to warn you about. And you have your typical FCI lines, and then you have your Dutch lines, your KNPV lines. Your KNPV lines are the most sorted lines over the world. The Dutch have been breeding these dogs very strong since days that we could remember. After the World War, there was such a little bit of them, and they started crossbreeding them with the Malinois to open the gene pool. But we also have a lot of Dutch Shepherds now in the FCI, which if you see them, it's a smaller built dog. Now your Malinois and your Dutch Shepherds are medium built dogs, so not these huge dogs. But what happened was the working lines, where they needed the dogs to be a little bit bigger, they started breeding them larger, and now they went out that true size spec of the dog, basically out of that for the working lines, so they know more in the show standards, if you can call it like that. So this is also another thing. Your Dutch lines are very hard dogs, very stubborn dogs. If you do choose out of the Dutch lines, make sure that you do know working dogs and you do know your Shepherds well. They are extremely strong dogs, hard-headed. I know a good friend of ours called them bucket dogs in America because he says they always chew the buckets up in his kennels. They are the kind of dogs that's just like your Malinois, needs a lot of stimulation. So be careful of your Dutch Shepherd, and be careful of the Dutch Shepherds out there that get sold under the name of these Dutch Shepherds, but is more lines that doesn't have that natural ability to guard. Or let me put it this way, there are dogs that's a lot of nerve issues and things like that. But out of the Dutch Shepherd and the Malinois, one thing that you don't have is you don't have all this hip and elbow problems and skin problems and stuff like that. It's pretty much a breed that has been like untouched. It's been now starting to, with all the backyard breeding, but it's pretty much two breeds that's been untouched when it comes to changing them the way humans want them to look like or perceive them to look like. So they're quite clean when it comes to diseases and things like that.
But I think with all of them, of the above, that you have to keep in mind is there is different lines. And people breed them different for what they want to do with them. So you need to research that and then make sure you've got the dog that will fit in with you and your experience and your family. Because another big problem we get is people think because it's a Malinois or because it's a Dutch Shepherd or it's a German Shepherd that it will do protection work. Yeah, so I've got a big surprise for you. It doesn't work that way. Not all dogs enjoy doing protection, not all dogs bite, so it doesn't have to be a Malinois. If you don't do your homework and if you don't buy a decent dog for what you want to do, you're going to be disappointed, because you even get Malinois and Dutch Shepherd that gets bred more for show, like we said, or for agility and stuff like that, but now you want to force that dog to be a protection dog, and then we go back to all those things of the dog not enjoying the training and it's too stressful. So do your homework and get the lines that is being bred for protection.
Not all cars are race cars. So just because it's a Malinois or a Dutch Shepherd or a German Shepherd doesn't mean it's got the ability to look after you or protect you. And if it happens that they do look after you and untrained, we usually see that in the front page of newspapers or like flung over Facebook and stuff like that. So it's 1 out of millions that happen. So if you're a gambling person and you've got a 1% chance of winning, I don't think you're good at gambling. But in any case, another breeds that we will discuss, I think we'll discuss them all together in a way, is we get a lot of people say, yes, I grew up with Rottweilers, or what about Rottweilers? Rottweilers, stunning dogs, I think, for those who love them. They're big dogs, really, really, really big dogs. And I do think, unfortunately, with the Rottweilers that we've met and that we came with, you have really like the scale tipping on each side. You either get them so scared and don't want to do anything, or you get them over the top aggressive. And
you
the over the top,
get a nice balanced one that actually can do protection and.
Yeah, and the over-the-top aggression is not a good aggression. I won't boil it down to the controlled aggression like that of some of the Malinois and Dutch Shepherd and German Shepherds you get. It's more like biting owner, biting kid, those kind of stuff. So make very, very sure that where you buy your Rottweilers, that those dogs are sound of mind, the parents are sound of mind. I always say if you get in there and they want to kill you, the parents want to kill you and everything, to go and have a look at the puppies, you know, yeah, it's something that we have to be really aware of, that you have to open your mind and be very, not judgmental, but ask your questions with why, what, all those kind of stuff when it comes to a breed like that. So that you really know that what you're buying is something that will be able to be trained, that will be able to do protection dog and won't harm any of the family or bite somebody just because of the sake of biting.
Yeah, but you do get some really nice ones if you can get the right lines. They can be awesome dogs.
They're big.
They're big, yeah. So that's what we like about the Malinois and your Shepherds, is the agility part of it as well, how agile they are, how fast they are. So your Rottweiler is a bigger built dog. So that's something you need to also keep in mind. It doesn't have that same speed and things like
agility. And hips and elbows.
Yeah,
all these large breeds, hips and elbows. Don't look past it. And people stay away from backyard breeding. Please stay away from backyard breeding. This is killing dogs. This is killing humans. It's just bad. Stay away from backyard breeders, especially when it comes to dogs like these. Just because it's a couple of $100 cheaper, it's not what you want to skimp on something that's going to have to protect your life. So you know what, it's like, it doesn't make sense to me. You don't go to war with slingshots and throwing stones. When you go to war, you want to make sure that you've got the best there is, so that you can win the war and protect the civilian people in your country. So it's exactly the same with your dog. Don't skimp. Go and do your homework and get and buy decent dogs.
Yeah, and then I think the
Dobermans.
I actually think we've been lucky. In our past, we've had a few nice Dobermans that is really nice for protection. We've got one in our PSA club who we really like, and he's like one of our own dogs. So I wouldn't buy one for myself. It's not my favorite or my type of breed, but yeah, I don't have anything against them. They're also quite active. So be careful of thinking of you getting a Doberman and it's not going to be that active. It is quite active and still needs a lot of stimulation. Once again, large breed. So make sure you have hips and elbows, and then getting the right lines. I think this is the same as the Rottweiler, that because they're such a common breed, people are just like breeding them. You know, this guy's got a male, that one's got a female, and then you end up with really not a good dog. So just make sure you do your homework and get lines that can do the protection if that is what you are looking for. But on the upside, I've got a nice short coat for someone who doesn't want the long hair, but they still shed with those small little black hairs to shed on your stuff. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I don't have anything against them. They can also be nice and agile, but they're big as well. It's a large dog, much bigger than your Malinois, so keep that in mind when it comes to food and where you're living and those kind of stuff.
Another thing to remember about your Rottweiler and also your Doberman is the cropping of the tails and
the ears
and stuff like that of the Doberman, not of the Rottweiler. But a lot of times also that to bear that in mind. I'm not against it and I'm not for it. I don't have an opinion about it. I just do like a breed that I don't have to cut anything off it. So those big dogs swinging a tail around, but bumping stuff off in your house and things like that, and eating your leg, it's quite sore. But I've got two buddies of mine, one in the States and one in Swaziland, that breeds Dobermans, and I saw what their dogs are like and had the privilege of working with these dogs. And they're nice dogs. I don't see anything wrong with them. Like Mali said, they're big dogs. It's just unfortunate again. Many years ago, they were used quite excessively or extensively. Which was a better word?
I'm not English.
All right. Okay. But they were used a lot in police, in military. I remember the South African Defence Force many years back. They really used them a lot. It was a dog that you used to see in any police force and military force. But I think it's been like faded away because of the Malinois, and then also I think also got to do a lot with the Belgian Malinois, the German Shepherds, and those dogs taking over, and then also bad breeding. I think bad breeding has got a lot to do with the Dobermans, like any breed, I suppose. Right, then the Mastiffs or the Boerboel. That's also one I always hear, like, oh, the best guard dogs you can get is a Boerboel and things like that. I hear what you are saying, but I don't believe that all dogs are the best. It depends on genetic. We discussed that. We discussed it in our other videos and things like that. The thing is, with the Boerboels are very large dogs. They're huge. I remember working with a Mastiff the one time. He was a year old, weighing 80 kilos. What's that, 160, 170 pounds. They're huge dogs. The thing is with them as well that you have to be careful of is obviously your health issues, backs, elbows, those kind of stuff, and also hips, and feeding those dogs the right food so that you can actually help with those bone growth and to assist them. Can I put that way? So those are huge dogs, especially if you've got smaller children.
And the Mastiffs have got a bit of a reputation of being unpredictable sometimes.
Yeah.
But that again is the breeding's fault, not the dog's fault.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing is with these kind of breeds is your chances of getting a good one is so much less than in your shepherds for what you want to do. And I think one thing that's put us or me off the Boerboels or the Mastiffs, especially in South Africa, is it's just the people and the mentality around it. I can't tell you how many times people will tell me, "No, I got a Boerboel and I kept it away from people there in the back of my yard so it can be aggressive towards people." And they either go completely insane when they're older, the people can't even go in there themselves, or they're so scared because they've never gotten used to people. And all the stupid things that the people do with them, like give them pieces of clothing and for smell and all. I think that's a big thing that puts me off. But out of all the ones we've got for training, the majority of them didn't really want to do the protection work, or we couldn't teach them the skills we wanted to. Yes, they might be in there like protective of the yard, and if someone comes in there you can take a chance and see if they're going to bite, but to actually formally train them has been difficult, and you don't get a lot of them that's really good for that.
And they don't last long in a training session either.
No, they quickly, and they're so tired because they're so big.
But the other thing is, you can't disagree with me, they're damn cute as they puppies. Those big fat little puppies, they are damn cute. Of all the calls I receive when it comes to dogs biting their owners, biting the kids and stuff like that, believe it or not, it's the Rottweiler and the Boerboel and then your Mastiffs, which I get the most calls of for that. Dogs that grew up in the house, then unpredictable, and all of a sudden there is something like that happens. An incident where the dog jumped through a window and bit the lady that came in. Her best friend came to visit her that morning and has done so for so many years.
Yeah.
And it just goes right through the window and goes and bites the lady. So very unpredictable to us. Then a breed which I really feel sorry for, and I really do feel sorry for them, is the pit bulls. It's not a breed that I would like to have myself, but I do see the beauty in a pit bull, and I do feel very sorry for the breed because yet again humans have stuffed them up so badly, from where they were called a nanny's dog to now a pit fighting dog, and usually they are extremely, whatever you get, are extremely dog aggressive. And this is another thing I want to ask you pit bull breeders out there, is how the hell can you let a puppy go between the ages like of 4 weeks, 5 weeks? Because every person that comes to me with a pit bull with problems, those pups have been like from their mom from the age of 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 8 weeks. Go and do your homework, go and do your stuff. You want to let those pups go at 8 weeks, because it's a very important time, those 2 and 3 last weeks before 8 weeks before they leave their homes. But you can see the problems with these dogs, and at 90% of them, man, I can go and say 98% of them all have been left the mom at the age of 4 weeks. So I don't understand that, because it's so unfair towards the dog. And a lot of these dogs get put, and there's another dog that's like both sides of the scale. It like will kill you, or it will kill you with love. It's like so many incidents that you hear of. Old lady now the other day got killed by her pit bulls. Kids get killed by the pit bulls. It's like, and this is not the dog's fault. This is unfortunately the breeders and the humans' fault behind these dogs. That's what causes these dogs.
I think a lot of people will also say, yes, but if you raise them different, I get you, yeah, and you can raise them to be super dogs, but sometimes though that aggression towards other animals, other dogs, is so strong genetically that it's always a battle.
Yeah.
And you must know if you are willing to go through stuff like that. And then we've also had super pit bulls. I mean, they're much fewer than the others, but we've had pit bulls here that has no dog aggression at all. That's super with protection work. But once again, this is the thing. Your chances of getting that super dog in that breed is so much less than when you go to your shepherds that's been bred for this work. Your chances is bigger of getting the right balanced dog than with your pit bulls. I think the biggest thing I've got against that all the breed is, I think, the people and the mentality about it. Like they want this protection dog, they're gonna get a pit bull so it can rip people apart, and they leave it in the backyard, and they don't have the commitment to train it properly and to spend the necessary time with it. I think that is the biggest problem there. But if you are not used to the breed, if you're wanting a family dog and stuff, and you don't have the experience, or you don't even know where to start looking for the right pit bull, then rather stay away from it and get something that is easier, or that you can put the right time and attention into. That's just how I feel. Like, don't do these breeds such an injustice by buying them and then wanting to make them aggressive and put them in the backyard, and that's so unfair.
Yeah. Then the one day comes and the pit bull does rip somebody apart, and you know what happens? The pit bull gets put down.
Yeah.
The owner should be shot, and the guy who bred that dog should be shot, not the poor dog. But I'm not going to go into that one. All right, then my last breed that I want to discuss, and I want to like clarify the room here now. So this is the African Ridgeback. Now, the African Ridgeback, been bred to hunt lions and all sorts of stuff like that. But people, I need to clear the air for you about these dogs. Is no dog will withstand a lion or fight a lion. If you want to see the power of a lion, go and have a look at the movie called Eternal Enemies, one of my favorite animal shows. No 2 Ridgebacks, no 4 Ridgebacks will stand against a lion. He will kill them all. Ridgebacks were bred to bay the animal, which means they haven't got the heart to go in there and attack the animal, but they keep the animal at bay. So the animal now is in a decision, there's no more flight, it's now in fight mode, and it's got 3-4 dogs to deal with. The hunter comes in with his gun and he shoots the lion. They never hunted lions, like go in there and kill the lion. Maybe after it was dead they got a bite in or 2 of the lion, but there's no dog strong enough to kill a lion. The only Ridgebacks I've ever dealt with was dogs that battle to do bite work. Unfortunately, I think they're also more bred for show. Battle to do bite work. I know there is people that told me good stories about Ridgeback, but unfortunately I haven't seen it. But the Ridgeback to me is not my first choice when it comes to something like a protection dog. If you like the breed, by all means go for it. They will keep people at bay from your house and bark at them, and they're big, they look the part. Also, another thing with the Ridgeback, do your homework when it comes to the hips and elbows. Really, really do your homework when it comes to hips and elbows. And that basically covers our breeds that we want to discuss. But if I've got a few tips for you, maybe just 1 or 2 tips for you. you have to do your homework. Have a look at our videos where we discuss this. Look at genetics. Just because it's a Malinois, a Dutch Shepherd, or a German Shepherd doesn't mean it's going to protect you. Make sure that they are healthy. Have a look at our videos. We have spoken about this so many times on how to do your checklist before the time to see that you're buying the right dog for what your needs are.
Yeah, and then like I said, is you can go for any breed, but just do your homework like Charles says, and then don't be disappointed if you choose a breed less common to be bred for bite work and then get a dog that's not suitable for bite work. So don't expect your Labrador to be a protection dog. The ones that are is few and far between. Get something that is bred for the work, and it's going to make your life so much easier.
Yep. Now, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our channel, like this videos, go and watch our previous videos that we have made, and then do us a favor and just tell us if we've missed something out on these protection dogs that you like, that you don't like. Please put that in the comment section below, and we will have a look at it. And if there's any videos that you want us to make of things that you need to know about dog training or anything like that, please let us know. And then also check out our Zoom sessions that we've got, that we have training over Zoom. Contact us on email.
Yeah, that's it.
So without further ado, cheers.